is a force unbroken, with banners high and hearts awoken. The sound of pipes, our war is calling. Like thunderous waves, our duty is falling. Stand tall, together we fight, with courage found in every breath. We'll fight like lions, defy our death. In unity, our hearts shall sing the legacy of warriors through every reign. With battle cries, we forge our fate. In fields of valor, we elevate. As shadows loom, our spirits gleam. Brothers in arms, we are the dream. Fearless, we take the night, with courage found in every breath. We'll fight like lions, defy our death. In unity, our hearts shall sing the legacy of warriors through every reign. As dawn breaks, we know our name.
Luna, come on. Come here, Luna. Come here.
That was not cool. That was literally, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Nighthawk's weekly battle with AI. I've got my gloves off, and I'm going to bare knuckle it with the SOBs and the powers that be tonight. And hopefully we'll get through this. I barely made it through another podcast tonight that I was on. I had to use my phone because AI completely locked me out of my computer, David. So, yeah, it's really something. You know, you start talking about the bizarre stuff that's going on in the world, and you throw AI into it, and it seems like AI cops an attitude and plays like the little schoolgirl that got her ponytail pulled, you know, and cries to everybody. So, you know, it's getting ridiculous. But that being said, guys, I'm glad you're all here tonight. And I've already got 3 cups of coffee down my gullet in the last hour and a half, and I've got another 2 cups to go at least. So we're going to be at least an hour long tonight. So I hope you enjoy it. We're going to talk about the big cats and antics of wildlife, and big cats. Okay. But that being said, we're going to get into the disclaimer. As always, I claim fair use of any and all content, including the music, to be used for the purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and let's not forget the entertainment value. Breathe, Nighthawk, breathe. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Furthermore, please be respectful in the chat, and if you have any questions, please put it in capital letters. We'll try to answer the stuff, but, you know, this is stuff that we just kind of, you know, we bring to you guys, you know, every now and then. David and I do. This is the 3rd time I think we're doing it, and it's just good information about wildlife, and it's kind of nice to get off the topic of the paranormal and the bizarre and the cryptid stuff, and get into the real meat and potatoes of what's around us, you know, in the physical realm, and that is, you know, big cats. Okay, and that being said, I'm going to take this off the screen so you all can see our glorious looks on our faces. And I am going to introduce my cohort here. I'd call him the hostess, the co-hostess with the mostess. The yin to yang. No, that doesn't even sound good.
Yin yang.
My brother from another mother. David Lester. David, good to see you, bro.
Yeah, same here, bub.
Hello,
everyone. How's everybody doing in the chat tonight?
Cats.
Hope everybody's had a good holiday and good Christmas coming up. So I'm gonna say Merry Christmas early.
Main house says it's cuckoo o'clock. Anyways, I just had an interesting podcast, and I don't know if you all have been noticing on Facebook. I've been battling with AI and the whole internet thing for a while now, and it's because I've been coming out and I've been talking about the connection possibly to a nefarious event that's probably going to be coming up, a very evil event in the very near future. And I'm not going to get into it because I want this podcast to actually work. So, but if we have technical problems, that's why. Okay. So keep that in mind. Unreal, good to see you. Dead Wolf, always good to see you. Bounty, good to see you. Main House, good to see you always. You know that. Who else we got? We've got Melissa. Good to see you, Melissa. Corey's always good to have Corey in there. Joanne. Okay, who else? We've got, let's see. I know Urso's got to be in here somewhere. Where is that little bugger? Where is that little bugger? There he is. There's Urso. Okay. All right, Corey and Urso, you guys are my royal guard tonight, man. Keep an eye on the chat for me, okay, please. The Shizzle, good to see you. Who else we got? Let me go further up here, David. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Take your time. Good day, everybody's here.
Let's see. Yeah, it looks like everybody's. I think I got everybody covered. If I missed you, I apologize. Been a heck of a day and a hell of a night already. Those of you that follow Dennis Carroll, I actually was on his podcast tonight. A road less traveled, and we got into the whole AI subject and some portal talk and gateways and all kinds of stuff. It was when AI didn't kick me off of that, it was actually a pretty good conversation. So that being said, thank you, AI. I love you very much. Big cats. We have a discussion tonight. We've had some incidences around here locally. I had one myself. My wife Tracy has had a couple of them with a mountain lion locally in Virginia. Okay, so it's a real thing. Big cats are a real thing. No matter what wildlife control tells you, big cats are here. Okay, and they're everywhere. Okay. And I actually, this past summer, riding a bus into town, was actually able, because I sat up higher in the seat, actually look across the farmer's field, and there was a huge black cat the size of at least 160 some pound mountain lion. And it was not a kitty cat. It was a full grown Black Panther looking cat. Okay. And, a lot of people think that the Black Panther is separate from the jaguar and the leopard, and they're really not. They're the same exact thing, because the panther has a melanism genetic problem to where their fur turns black, and that's the only real difference. If you look close enough on some Black Panthers, you'll actually see the spots. So I thought that was very interesting. Here's a picture so you can see what I mean. But David, I wanted to know and pick your brain what you've been finding out and experiencing since you and the ECBRO go out a lot. Have you seen a lot of evidence of physical evidence of large cats in the area?
We have a couple of times we came across questionable tracks, but nothing really to be able to discern if it was actually a big cat or, like a bobcat or whatever. Because, bobcats can get big too. The only thing that really, we get a lot of reports down here around Timberville area, Falks Run area, over the years and stuff. People actually say they've seen cats running around either in the backyard or crossing the road or whatever. It's not a common occurrence. But of course, I don't think it would ever be a common occurrence anyway, because cats are like any other wild animal and stuff. They're going to try to avoid people as all possible.
Right.
But again, the authorities, they're going to deny it. But they're like any other species. If they have a range to roam in, just by breeding alone, they can come back because they were here at one time. And I don't think they ever really disappeared.
Right. And,
one thing that really stood out was
it's kind of like when they say that certain species have been hunted to extinction. I don't think you can really technically hunt something to extinction. I think, life is always going to find a way, to put it, that way. So,
yeah, for the most part, yeah, there are some things they thought they hunted to extinction, but there were still a few left where the population did come back. But it wasn't a years later to where it got to where they were finally being seen again.
Yeah, look at the Tasmanian devil with the xylophane. That's just one.
This our past camp out in May, we really can't pinpoint what it was, but based on the animal behavior around here and the animals we have, we got bear and the bobcat and all the other stuff around here. One of our counterparts, I've told this story before, but for those that maybe haven't heard it yet. One of our ECBRO members came in from Richmond and to camp with us for the week. And we went out on the night hike, and we put him in a position by himself while we continued on with a couple of other new members to show him a couple more areas. This is around 9:30 at night. We left him by himself while we went on. And we're out here in the George Washington National Forest, primitive camping. There wasn't anybody else around for several nights while we were there. We pretty much had the entire area back here where we're at by ourselves. But when we left him by himself, aside from us seeing the light, me and Daniel, that I've talked about before, but I'm not going to get into that because we can't explain what that was. Just before we seen that light, Drew, our counterpart from Richmond, seen eye shine in a field, in grass. It averaged anywhere from 2 to 4 foot tall. It's sporadic. It was a field before you get back into the wood line again. And the closest point to him, the closest eye shine to him, the other eye shine was off in the wood line. The head had to be at least 2 foot up off the ground. And to us, it scared him. He didn't know what it was. He tried to scare it. It wouldn't scare. He tried blowing a whistle, wouldn't do anything. After about 3 minutes of watching it, he started walking. It paralleled him, like it was stalking him a little bit. That's the way he described it. And then he picked up pace and practically ran back to camp. Because he wasn't that far from base camp. We had other people there at base camp. But when you go back and analyze, just taking into account the terrain, the type of animals that we have, for him to see the eye shine, he couldn't make out any head details because it was about 50 yards away from him. But all indications to us, it most likely could have been a cat, a cougar. Mm-hmm. They're pretty much loners, from my understanding, when they go out, when they're out and about. Now, to account for the other eye shine, could it have been a cougar with a young one? Could have been a cougar with a mate. Now, I don't know if large cats, if they're mating, if they travel together or not until, one of them become pregnant. But we could not find anything to give us any indication that it could have been a smaller animal, especially when you're talking about 2 foot. I walked down the field with Luna, and Luna's about a 70-pound dog, shepherd. And when she was out there at my side, you couldn't even hardly see her ears in the grass. And cats range anywhere from cougars, for the most part, from a German Shepherd size, maybe a little bit bigger than that, maybe up to 90 pounds, maybe 3 foot at the shoulders on average. I mean, you're going to have your variances in them too, based on male, female, and stuff like that. But we could not find any indication that it was any other animal than possibly a cat. And we just found that intriguing. Could it have something to do with the light that we seen earlier that we can't explain what the light was? I have no idea. I don't want to get off on the 8. We're talking about cats, but other things start coming into play when we start talking about other things that it could have been, because everything happened within a 20-minute time span of each other. So, yeah, we think that might have been a cat. But, I mean, I've worked with people with the sheriff's office, a couple of guys, well, one guy and one girl, and they swear up and down they seen a cat. And Joe, one time, he was one of the maintenance guys at the sheriff's office. He swears up and down he's seen him several times back in Falks Run area over the years. I mean, several years apart. So, yeah, I think they're here. But, again, the authorities aren't going to say anything about that. They're going to deny it. And why they want to deny stuff like that, I have no idea. But we've always got our guard up when we go out because
that's what the government.
We got a big force here. George Washington National Force, and Jefferson National Force.
Yeah, that's what the government does, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's what they do. They deny. So,
but what I find intriguing about cats is, before you get some of the other pictures you showed me, some of the things I didn't know about them, whatnot. I didn't know they'd been around as long as they have been, from the lions to the cats. They've been around for about 2 million years. I had no idea they went back that far. I thought it was something more recent. But the more modern day cats and lions that you see now pretty much solidified about 200,000 years ago, or 120,000 years ago, around that time frame, to what they are now today. And I found that fascinating. And so that tells everybody that they ran alongside the saber-toothed tiger. And the saber-toothed tiger, and you got the mountain lion stuff, and they were here in North America, as well as Africa. But I didn't think they ran side by side. I always thought the saber-tooth was here first, then the lions and the cats evolved after that. But that's not the case. It was basically all running around together. The cats, lions, and the cougars and stuff, they were the type of predators that chased their prey, where the saber-tooth was an ambush predator. They had a shorter tail. I find all that fascinating as far as all that goes. And what I find fascinating about cats is all predator animals have their own characteristics when they hunt. If you ever notice a cat, if you ever watch them on TV and stuff like that, prey animals have 3 distinct things that they can detect a predator from: sight, hearing, and smell. But for them, when it comes to cats, I ain't talking about lion, I'm talking about your cougars and your panthers and stuff. The smell almost doesn't work for them. You know why? Because if you watch them, when they stalk, they stay downwind of the prey. They follow the scent cone to let the wind bring the scent cone to them so they can maneuver in until they can make the kill. And
most cats will attack from behind too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. That's what they do. They'll come from behind on the prey, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to go for the neck for a quick kill.
Yep, exactly.
Incapacitate the prey, to include people. I mean, most lion attacks, you see, I mean, they got marks around their head and, their throat area and stuff like that, shoulder, because they know what part of the body's to attack. I mean, I just find that fascinating about cats as far as that, how they stalk and prey, their prey and stuff like that. And they're very smart, very intelligent animals. If they don't want to be seen, you ain't gonna see them unless you get awful lucky. And let's say if you ever do encounter one, if you're out in the woods, one, you don't run, obviously. And they're one of the predators that they say you want to make eye contact with. Bears, you don't. They'll find that intimidating and possibly cause them to go on the defensive. But when it comes to cats, they say they're the ones you want to make eye contact with. You don't become aggressive like any other animal. You try to make yourself bigger and whatnot. You don't run. If you can, throw things at them. If you feel like they're going to keep coming at you, try not to bend down if you can't bend down. But we're getting off topic here as far as that when it comes to cats. But I just find it fascinating the way they stalk their prey and stuff like that. I mean, if you got cats around the house, I mean, they do the same thing. They'll do that circling motion when they're looking for stuff to try to find that scent cone. And it's just, and when we first moved here back in 2011, I had
here's what I was talking about.
Do what? What's that?
This is what I was talking about when we talk about black panthers having spots. This is a good depiction of it right here.
Yeah.
And also with the big cats, you have very markings are like everything too, as far as adaptive camouflage. Well, we know that from being in the military. That's what it is.
Oh yeah.
And trying to blend with your environment. And one of the big ones that I always enjoyed watching on the Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom, you guys remember them days, don't you? And was the big taggers, and the taggers that had the white spots on their shoulder blades to make their heads look huge, like they look like eyeballs, and it makes their head look like 5 times the normal size. So it gives them the look to another predator that they're the bigger and badder of the two. So it's really, really cool the way nature really does take care of itself.
Yeah, and a lot of insects will mimic that too. You got a lot of butterflies that will mimic like eyes on their wings and stuff like that to give the same impressions these cats do. That makes your eyes go a little goo-goo looking at that, because you get them to see white spots up there and you see the whites of his eyes, and your brain tries to figure it out. It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat when you see stuff like that.
Exactly. I was trying to find, I think I got a picture here of, let me see if this is it. This is something that Florida has been doing, apparently releasing robotic bunnies. Because of the python problem down there. But I've also noticed that not only do they have the pythons affecting the smaller animals like the raccoons and stuff in Florida, but I wonder at the same time how often it affects the Florida panther down there, because the panther is they're a species that you very seldom see. And they don't want to be seen at all, unless they're very, very hungry and out on the prowl. But yeah, it's something when you have an invasive species that doesn't belong in a certain region, but that region is environmentally sound enough to sustain it, because it's about 80 to 90% like its natural environment. There's really nothing to stop it, other than finding another natural predator. And I guess that's kind of a smart idea with robotics, using that way to basically get rid of a problem.
I could see robotics being used, but to me, in my mind, that would be a slow way to do it. I can't even imagine how many of those rabbits they need to build to even try to make any kind of an impact. I get the concept. Don't get me wrong. I get the concept. But since you mentioned that, I seen a special on TV the other day to where they were talking about this same situation, to where they're either talking about it or they did do it to where they've got this certain type of rat that they sterilize, and then they implant it with some kind of drug or pill. Then they turn them loose for the snakes to consume, and then that will kill the snakes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I need to do more research on that, but I mean, I seen that on TV the other day. It's either a concept they're thinking about, or they're in the process of doing it. I can see
Well,
that
that's going to
working
be what
with robotic. Yeah,
that's going to be what our next episode for the Wicked Wildlife Encounters is going to be. It's going to be about the big snakes, and sewer systems and alligators and stuff like that. So that'll be our next one.
some myths.
So
Yeah.
The old
Yeah.
sewer system, alligator thing and snake thing. Yeah, I always, and in the country, if you have a septic system, you can. If you don't have a backflow prevention device on your septic, you will get a snake in your toilet, folks, or in your bathtub.
Oh,
It's just a matter
there's
of
a lot
time.
of there's a lot of history about people having that happen.
Oh yeah, you got to have that backflow preventer lid that slap closed after the water slides out your sewer exit, so that way nothing can crawl in there. But as we were talking, as you were explaining about the pill and stuff, and killing the snakes that way, nature's devised a way always. I guess I shouldn't say nature. I should say the creator has always devised a way of making something to look further down the line and handle potential problems. And I bring up the vulture. And what's great about a vulture is they have the stomach acid strong enough to dissolve anthrax, botulism, and even rabies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can clean up so many different diseases that would normally wipe out other wildlife. So they're pretty much like the referee. I look at it as like a referee with an attitude, And here's a picture of one, and it's just, to me, it's amazing how they were designed and made that way.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a purpose, just like the rabbits do.
Well, you're talking about the pythons in Florida and the larger cats down there. It hasn't got to the stage yet, but with these snakes taking away the prey items, how long will it be before? I don't know what the cat population is in Florida, estimated population, but how long before they start intruding where people live? Because once those snakes start taking away the prey items, they've been devastating the small prey down there. How long is it going to be before they start encroaching upon where people live, suburban areas and stuff like that?
Exactly. And
then
you got to think too. One of the main invasive species that are down there is the African rock pythons, and they're not as big as an anaconda, but they are vicious.
Yep.
Okay, and when you're dealing with a snake like that, and if you have a small pet around, a domesticated pet, whether it's a cat or whether it's a small dog, you better keep them within your sight, because I'm telling you, if it's not the alligators down there that get them, or the big snakes, it'll be that rock python, because they will go after
too. Children too, kids too, small adults. Yeah. I mean, they get snakes down there now. I mean, they've got photographs where they could swallow gators. If they can do that to a gator, you can imagine what they do to a small human.
Exactly.
But apparently there's 5 major categories of lions and tigers. Huh? What's that?
Oh, there's I thought there were 6 actually, but yeah, that's unusual. That's
the 5
as far as categories. As far as categories, do you mean in geographical regions?
When for what I've seen, there's 5 true big cats. 5. Lion, tiger, jaguar, leopard, and snow leopard. Now you still got your little cougars, you still got your little cheetahs, and you got a clouded leopard, which don't fall into the true big cats. They're a cat. That's how they broke them down into categories. And there's probably a few more other types out there in other countries and stuff like that. And if you put those together, there's 7 big cats, often defined by their international boundaries and stuff like that. But the 5 true big cats are the ones I mentioned. I didn't know that before either. I thought all of them fill in that category. But scientists, they come out with different categories and how they put categorize stuff as whatnot. And lion, tiger, jaguar, leopard, no leopard. So
to me, if it's bigger than a 60-pound dog, it's a big cat. That's just that's my judgment. You know what I mean? I mean, I've seen mountain lions that weighed 160, 180 pounds. That's a big cat. That is a big cat. Okay. So it's now to me, a bobcat that weighs 45 pounds is a big cat, because
it is a big cat.
Yeah, it can take on a dog. It really can.
Yep, it very well could. Yeah. I mean, if they've got that will to survive and to fight, dog's going to have his hands full. And depending on the dog, they may not win.
Speaking about fighting, speaking about tenacity, speaking about the whole will to survive and being the underdog, I give you the honey badger. Now, this little guy here is one piece of work. Okay. This little guy, he is literally the king of his surroundings. Mm-hmm. Super tough honey badger in the South African Wildlife Center, escaped twice to pick a fight with lions, guys. Mm-hmm. Lions. Who does that? What does that? Except somebody with big brass you-know-whats. Okay. And that's the honey badger. He picked a fight with not even just one lion, it's plural lions. So
we got badgers here in the U.S. too.
Yeah, but this one actually is in a captivity zoo.
Yeah, so. But I mean, even the badgers here in the U.S., some of your larger animals like bear and stuff, they don't even mess with them because they're just downright. They're quick, they're vicious, they got sharp teeth, their claws. I'm glad we don't have any here in Virginia as far as that goes. Not that I'd be afraid of them, but I don't know their behaviors as far as that. But I've heard some stories and seen the documentaries on TV to where they do some damage. If you corner one of them, they got to be the same species, the same subspecies. Since that's a honey badger, I mean, I don't know the exact name of the badgers we have here out west, but they can do some damage.
We've got a badger here locally where we live. Comes out that has the same colorings and stuff as the honey badger. I haven't gotten close enough to want to get close enough to look at it closely to see what kind of, badger it is. But it's a little lower to the ground, so it's an actual badger. It's not a honey badger. But I often think of when you think of a small animal with tenacity and just big old, cojones. I always think of the Wolverine, and I kind of liken the badger, the honey badger, as a Wolverine with that attitude,
True. I didn't think of it like that, but true. Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of small things like that with cats, I know you got a bunch of cats around your house. How are they doing?
They're getting fat.
I know a lot of people like cats. I mean, I like cats too. But now let me ask you this. The cats you have, let's say you went out tomorrow morning and now those cats weigh 50 pounds. Would you still like them?
I get along with
you
any
want to go up against them? You know how the cats can be pretty nasty when they're small. Do you think that cat, if it was all of a sudden 50 pounds, would be friendly towards you?
Yeah.
It's just food for thought.
Well, the reason I say on my case is because growing up as a kid, we had, my dad had wolves that were pets, and we're not talking domesticated, half dog, half wolf. We're talking
Right.
full blown timber wolf, So we're talking big aggressive animals that
I,
they used
I'm
they
just,
used to, they used to lay down at my feet, all the time and sleep when I was outside
I'm,
playing.
I'm just approaching this
Yeah.
from the aspect cats are predators also. And with
Yeah.
those small cats, if they were all of a sudden 50 pounds, would they look at you as prey? Just food for
I don't
thought.
think so. I don't think it. I think the species, the wildlife on planet Earth, I've only found humanity to be the only animal stupid enough to bite the hand that feeds it, literally. And and that's just the truth. You know, um, every species out there that I've interacted with in the wild growing up, um, which includes wolves,
Right.
mountain lions, raccoons. I mean, you name it. Um, they've always, even buffalo. I've even helped out with a buffalo ranch. So I've interacted with those species. And they have a way and a respect to where if something is a predominant food source, and like say a human's feeding them, they're not going to want to attack the human. The only time, like a big cat, there was a problem with a big cat that was in captivity, a mountain lion named Charlie one time, up here in Maryland. And we were visiting some friends at the time, and we went over and we looked at Charlie, and I gave a couple pointers on what to do. But the hardest time when you're dealing with a big cat is if you don't do it on a regular schedule. If you get off of a schedule and say you get sick and you don't show up for a day, and they went a whole day without eating, then they might turn on you and create you as the food source. But I don't foresee any animal in the wild or even domesticated that's going to harm the person that feeds it until that feeding stops.
Right. Now, I was just looking at it from the aspect of since they're predators too, if they'd be so friendly, if now they become dominant. It's just something I like cats, but it's just something about them
Yeah.
and their attitude sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, hey Juno, they are definitely grown accustomed. They have these cats here, and they're not our cats. They're not like cats that we raised. These are actually feral cats that pretty much, if we didn't feed them, they probably wouldn't survive. I mean, I even went so far as to building shelters for them, and sticking them outside so they could get through the winter. Um, and leaving my screen door cracked enough to where they could get inside the screen porch and huddle together if they needed to on the bad cold winter days and nights. But that being said, I mean, they have grown accustomed to my voice, and they've grown accustomed to the times that like Tracy will take the garbage bag out of the house and put it out front. They'll know that the time frame that she does that in, and they'll wait outside the door in a horde of like 6 or 7 at a time for her to come out and be seen. And then of course, she feeds them. So, it's like they're not stupid. They may be a feral cat, but they know that they're not going to, harm the people that provide for them, you know. And you hear so many instances of that when it comes to other animals too. I see online a lot, on the internet a lot, that people that befriend black bear, people that befriend deer, people that befriend raccoons and coyotes. And there's one guy that has a horde of coyotes that comes to visit him every day and feeds like 7 or 8 of them at one time. you know so
Yeah.
and they don't get aggressive to him because they know that he provides for them in a way that, hey, times are tough. They're going to get what they can get.
Yeah.
So until he stops feeding them, I guarantee it. Then they'll probably say, "Hey, you know what? You missed us on a feeding or two, and we didn't forget that." So,
Yep. By chance, you know what the Guinness World Record is on
unreal.
the cat?
No, not offhand.
It was called Hercules the Liger. It's a Guinness World Record. It's actually a lion-tiger hybrid, measured over 10 feet long and weighed 922 pounds. That's a big cat.
900. God, his belly must have been dragging on the ground.
Well, the biggest cats are the Siberian tigers, and they get up to around 850 pounds today. I didn't know they were the largest cat, the Siberian tiger. Yeah. That's about 10 feet in length.
I always thought the Bengal tiger.
Now, from the research I did, it says the largest wildcat species, with males reaching up to 850 pounds and over 10 feet in length, make them bigger than lions. Pretty interesting. I wouldn't want to cross paths
that
with
is
anything like
interesting.
that anyway. No.
Yeah,
No, I wouldn't want to
yeah,
do
that's
that.
definitely a no go. That's a no go for me. I wouldn't want to meet one. Anyways, let me see here. I'm trying to pull up something else here. I can see they're starting to mess with my audio and sound. All right, let's see here. We are going to put up this. This is a picture of a flock of birds. Okay. And obviously, this is happening quite a bit. And we talked a little bit about it last time, David, on the channel. Last time we did the podcast about 5G being a problem and, magnetic pole shifting and all that. But we are seeing a lot of weird antics with birds. And I saw the other day here locally, I was outside walking Jacob, and there was not very many birds. It wasn't like this many, but there was a few of them, and all they were doing was circling the sky about maybe 100 feet off the ground. And I just, it's almost like a hypnotic dance that they're doing. Like they don't know which direction to go. What do you think could cause that?
With the way things are going, some people want to say it could be the polar shifting going on, but with all this daggone technology and everything and AI going as fast as it is, we've had 5G now for a few years. They're getting ready to roll. Well, they have been rolling out, but even more so, 6G coming up. And when I watched, like I mentioned earlier, Redacted today, they had a scientist on there. You're talking gigawatts of power the 6G is going to be putting out. And they're talking about how that could affect people, their cells, their genomes, stuff like that. And if what they're talking about, they're talking about having stuff put on buildings, on poles and everything. You don't even need Comcast anymore and stuff like that because it's going to be so powerful. If it's going to affect people that way, what's it going to do to wildlife that rely on nature, their own senses to be able to migrate, live from day to day? There's too many unanswered questions going on here, let alone the control of what they want to do with people. But that's a whole different topic. But it's coming. Trust me.
Yeah, and yeah, it's definitely coming. You would think that if it's affecting adversely wildlife, that there would be a percentage of probability that it would affect humans in an adverse way if it's adversely affecting wildlife. and why the powers that be are not concerned with that shows you right there that we got the wrong people in charge of the wrong area.
Money. 5G, even 5G affects people. There's been people that's bought watches that ran off that 5G capability to where they couldn't wear it very long before it started giving them rashes on their skin, stuff like that, because of the signals that thing is picking up and the strength. Everybody's different. Everybody's genome is different. Some people was getting headaches from it, rashes from it. There's so, I mean, it's the possibilities are endless on the damage this could do in multiple different factors. And
that puts me in the mindset of the CIA doing the MK Ultra stuff. You know, the mind control stuff, the Manchurian Candidate stuff, and the frequency called black noise. I don't know if you know that. That might be something you want to research. But it's called black noise frequency, and it's a thing that they use, a frequency that they use to change people's attitudes from like being docile to aggressive.
That's already been proven. That's no different than the military experimenting with those cannons, the sound wave cannons. I'm sure you've probably seen that on TV. Yep. And as some civilian law enforcement have them to where it's this dish that sits up on a vehicle and then hit a certain frequency and amplify it into a rowdy crowd to get them to disperse. That is nothing compared to what's coming. That's nothing compared to what's coming, what they can do with it. Can they manipulate, people's minds to do things they don't want to do? I'd say absolutely. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't go off the bandwagon and stuff like that. But everybody's different, and it's all about control. It's what it's coming down to. And when they start doing the social stuff for the people, I can't remember the social side. What is the name of it? China's already doing it. If you don't become part of the society and do what the government wants, it's all digitalized where you can't buy food, you can't take transportation, you can't do nothing. You basically don't exist. Social something, I can't remember the exact terminology, but they're rolling it out.
It's a social credit score system is what it is.
Yeah, that's it. Credit score, yeah. And all that is compliance and stuff. And that could go all the way down to when they start implementing that here with the digital ID and everything. Bill Gates and his foundation's already made these small chips they put in people's skin for vaccines and stuff like that. They're already doing it in third world countries as a test run right now. And I put a post on my Facebook the other day for people to look at. But I think I'm censored on Facebook sometimes too. So I put a post on there and I write something about it and I post a link to it. I don't get any views on it. So I'm thinking there's something going on in my mind. I think there's something going on there too, to where they bury stuff.
Well, there's shadow banning a lot. They're doing a lot of shadow banning right now. And
but if people don't get that, that means you have to be vaxxed. You have to be everything about you is going to be in those chips. And you can't go. They're going to scan you going to stores. They're going to scan you doing all kinds of stuff. The stuff is out there. Some countries are already
real ID.
And for the religious people and stuff, they refer to it as mark as the beast for that.
Exactly.
But when people, the powers to be that can just flip you on and off with a switch, you drive too much this week, you get 10 gallons of gas allocated to get to and from work. They cut you off to where you can't buy gas. Now you're back into the 15-minute cities they're talking about.
And also look at it this way: people with the EV cars, the electrical vehicles, they'll put kill switches in them that you can't find on the vehicle to disable your vehicle if you ever do something to do an infraction against their system.
It doesn't have to be an EV. They could do that with modern day cars. I ain't talking the 50s and 60s cars.
Yeah.
All this electronic stuff, I guarantee you, they're gonna have machines out there. They can put a beam on your daggone car and read all electronics is programmed for that particular vehicle. That's where your key fob is, and they probably be able to turn something on that, read what that frequency is, hit a switch, and shut you down.
Well, if you can remote start your vehicle by adding something to the motor,
Absolutely.
you can
Absolutely.
actually kill it permanently.
Yes.
Also, another thing to consider too, guys, is the whole medical aspect of it. What if, say, you get a smart pacemaker put in? You know, what if you get this smart pacemaker put in and you start talking conspiracy theories and you strike something that maybe comes a little too close to actual truth, and they want to silence you? All they got to do is push a certain button and boom, you're silenced. The pacemaker stops working, you know, and it's a control mechanism is all it is.
Yeah.
And you know, it's the way that humanity has gone away from the days of becoming hunters and gatherers, and respecting, you know, everything around them, and having a respect for it, because you coexisted at the same instance, the same location, and you had to in order to survive. And you were grateful for what you gathered or what you hunted, you know, in return. But society nowadays isn't like that. Unfortunately, wildlife is. So wildlife is very adaptive. And I brought this up earlier with the buffalo. You know, the two separate herds that were in Yellowstone for the longest time literally combined after 100 years of being separated. You know, and now they're the biggest wandering group of buffalo that's out there, you know, and this is where nature takes care of itself.
Where there's several things going on in Yellowstone too that they've been talking about. They're trying to figure out what's going on. I think one of the not glaciers, one of those, I think they're called glaciers, the one that puts up water, whatever it is.
Geysers.
Geysers. Yeah, there you go. One that's been active for hundreds of years, and all of a sudden went dormant. It's no longer active, and they've got other strange animal behavior too besides the buffalo.
Yeah, I noticed that they've been having a lot more earthquakes there lately too.
Everywhere. Japan just had another one. Yeah.
So they're having like something like 150 to 200 every week in Yellowstone, and they're not 7.5s and stuff like in Japan. But, you know, they're 2.5, 3.0, you know, those types, which it'll rattle you if you've never been through one before.
Well, back to cats right quick. Yeah, I'm going to take the word for people that thinks they've seen them, because there's just too many reports here in Virginia to dismiss them. Could some of them be, you know, misidentification? Absolutely. But there's just too many to just write all of them off 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't buy that. Between the George Washington and the Jefferson National Forest, and they all combined with West Virginia, stuff like that, and all the way up north, you got the Appalachian Mountains. That's a lot of bears.
You know, that's what kills me too. You know, you got humans that can walk from Maine all the way down to Georgia on the Appalachian Trail into Alabama, and you know, if humans can do it, then don't they think big cats can do it, or other wildlife? You know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, I think that, you know, wildlife control management groups for the government that are more likely to cover something up involving a big predator being in the area, because, you know, that means that, you know, there's a possible threat to humanity. And sometimes, you know, as you know, I do a lot of the missing people stuff, and, you know, sometimes it is equated to wildlife becoming the major predator and unaliving a human. It happens. Okay, unfortunately, it does. So,
well, I'm gonna show you something here right quick. Don't fall out of your chair. When we bought this place back in 2011, I had my metal detector out in the backyard. Just see if I could find anything back here. We got 3 acres here. And I was digging around, pinging the stuff. I dug up this.
Huh. Interesting.
You know what it is?
Looks like a saber tooth to me.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm kidding. That's a 3D
Yeah,
print.
I know you are. Yeah, I know. I know you got a 3D printer. I'm not stupid.
I mean, I've always loved the saber tooth. And when I seen that file, I just had to have it. So I printed it, then I painted it up and everything. A lot of people think it's real, but it's not. It's
From a
just 3D
distance,
print.
well, you got to understand, I'm looking at a little screen right now of you in a box.
Oh, that's right. You got a little phone going on there, yeah.
Yeah.
With the eyes and the teeth.
That looks really good though.
Yeah.
See, and this is the same guy, everybody, that made my Bigfoot 3D printed stuff that I had encounters with.
Yeah, I like doing odd stuff like this, and I'll paint it up and everything to make it look like an old bone and stuff like that.
Yeah,
pretty neat. Yeah, it's a 3D print. I didn't dig that up.
Well, when you start making the Aztec death whistles, let me know.
I've never heard of that.
You've never heard of the death whistle?
Aztec death whistle. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, just Google death whistle and it'll come up.
I'm gonna write that down so don't forget it. But it's an Aztec version or just death whistle?
Yeah, you can do. Well, the Mayans had it too, but it was more of an Aztec thing than anything.
I ran Mayan and Aztec. Okay.
But yeah, it's called a death whistle, and it's really it's something. It's something. It sounds like nothing you've ever heard before. It really does, and they call it the death whistle for a reason too. So
I'll look it up, and then I'll see if the site I go to has if somebody made a file for that to be able to print. Interesting. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's something, man. I'm telling you, you're not going to when you start reading about it, you're going to find out. And I've got Aztec and Mayan stuff here in this room, as a matter of fact. I don't want to turn the camera around because this room's a mess. But I've pulled it out here before. I have that flute, that Mayan flute that has the bowl on the bottom of it for like an offering. So and that kind of has the same pitch as the death whistle, but it's not as evil sounding as the death whistle is. And I'll tell you, it's just got a sound on its own. It really does.
If somebody made a file for it, hopefully they made it to where you could actually blow into it.
Right.
I know there's a file where I made the Velociraptor part of the nose, and they made that file to where you could actually blow into it to imitate what a Velociraptor may have sounded like. Nobody knows for sure, but I mean,
yeah, that's probably where that death whistle came from, to tell you the truth, because the Utah Raptor was in this area for the longest time, all the way down into South America.
Yeah, I wonder. I'll have to look it up to see if they're similar or something different. Yeah, no, I've never heard of it. I've never heard of that. Okay, great. Yeah, I'll look that up. I wrote it down so I don't forget the name of it.
I want to thank David for being here tonight, guys. And it's been a long day. I've been battling, like I said, AI and the internet the whole week. And it's only halfway through the week. God willing, if AI lets me, almighty AI, we will have Into the Red Rabbit Hole podcast Friday night. If not, then we'll be coming on Saturday and Sunday morning again, myself and Eric. and talking about the paranormal and cryptid stuff. And we're going to go from there. The closer we get to Christmas, I'm probably not going to be having shows around Christmas. I'll just probably end it on this Saturday or Sunday until after Christmas. So I appreciate everybody. If you can, share this out. I know it's subject that we don't really talk much about, but in order to understand the undiscovered species or the cryptid stuff out there, you need to examine real life wildlife, okay? Because you can always learn from the examples you have right in front of you, okay?
Absolutely.
So, but that being said, everybody, I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank David. Thank you to Urso and Corey and everybody that's the mods in the chat. And thank you to the chat family. You guys are fantastic. And I look forward to the big snake one that we're going to do because I got some really cool pictures of some snakes, and I'm going to see if I can dig up some really good video too on that. If not, maybe I'll have David look it up because he has a lot more knowledge about video and picture stuff than I do. I'm just a dumb Indian. So that being said, guys,
you're not. You pull up some good stuff. You do a hell of a job on that. And I got no way to show it on my end anyway. I wish I did, but I don't.
Yeah. I'm still having problems trying to figure out how to upload video to StreamYard. So, I mean, that's just, that's how it is with me.
You're light years ahead of me on that. I just hit a join button and I'm in. You're light years ahead of me on this stuff. So I'm still learning.
Well, I appreciate everybody being here. Yeah, I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you, David, again. And
thank you for being in the chat. Everybody have a good night.
Everybody have a good night. And if we don't see you, if you don't show up Saturday and Sunday morning for the show or possibly Friday night, AI allowing me, have a good Christmas. Okay. And I will see everybody after Christmas, but Saturday and Sunday, definitely 11 a.m. Okay. Take care, everybody. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah, and happy Kwanzaa, and whatever the rest of them are. Happy, merry, and question everything, guys.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Through the mist we rise, a force unbroken, with banners high and hearts awoken. The sound of pipes, our war is calling. Like thunderous waves, our duty is falling. Stand tall, together we fight, with courage found in every breath. We'll fight like lions, defy our death. In unity our hearts shall sing the legacy of warriors through every reign. With battle cries we forge our fate, in fields of valor we elevate. As shadows loom, our spirits gleam. Brothers in arms, we are the dream. Fearless, we take the night, with courage found in every breath. We'll fight like lions, defy our death. In unity, our hearts shall sing the legacy of warriors through every reign. As dawn breaks, we know our name.